Beatrice Kopp on News Radio 570 WKBN. And so we answer your legal questions: child support, divorce, DUI, custody, estates, evictions, auto accidents, crime, whatever the situation might be, legally speaking. We answer your questions, try to point you in the right direction. Don't send you a bill. We've been doing it for about 35 years right here on News Radio 570 WKBN. And so let's go to the law firm of Beatrice Kopp and see who joins us tonight. What attorneys are present tonight?
You got one right now. You have me.
That sounds like the one and only, the one and only Mark DeVecchio.
That's right.
Family law attorney.
We have a late arrival. This show, Dave, the show starts at 5:05.
You know, we don't start acknowledging late arrivals to
you will
program.
Acknowledge my presence, and you will bow down before me. How about that?
I am going to bow down before you because I happen to have a picture here, Dave. Guess who, folks? Wait a minute, folks. Hang on a second. I think tonight, the legal show brought to you by Beatrice Kopp, taking legal questions. I think Attorney Beatrice will be asking me legal questions tonight about the auto accident he was recently in and probably wants to seek my legal counsel.
Yes, I do.
All right, David. Yes, go. David Beatrice, my first call. You're on the legal show. Go ahead. Tell folks what happened.
All right. So we had a lengthy Board of Elections meeting on Tuesday. We had a reorganization meeting. We had to open bids for ballots. It was just a long meeting. The meetings usually last anywhere from 20 minutes to a half hour. This one lasted an hour and 20 minutes. So I got in my car. I'm heading down Woodland and just driving normal speed, not on my phone.
Now is Woodland in Austintown? What community?
No,
is
it's
Woodland?
in Youngstown.
Youngstown.
So I'm coming down Woodland to head to Glenwood to take a left to go catch Canfield Road to go over to my house.
All right. Roughly, how fast were you going at the time,
20, 25. Okay.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
All right.
And some guy, I don't know, failed to see a stop sign or whatever. But I don't even think he even stopped. He just drove through it, and all of a sudden, boom. I mean, it was like all my airbags went out, Ron. All of a sudden, I'm like, what the heck just happened to me? It was like getting hit with like a baseball bat. I'm like, whoa. I go, oh my God, I was in an automobile accident. I'm like, what? I was like, I lost consciousness for a few seconds, right? And I'm like, ouch. Ooh, I'm like, wow, ow. And so like, oh my God, I almost fell out of the car. And I'm looking at my car, and there's like smoke coming up, and there's stuff leaking out, and my thing's going, we've called emergency services. And I work a lot out of my office, and one of my big briefcases was open. Files are all over my car, right? I had files in the back seat. I had a briefcase in the back seat. I had a briefcase in the front seat with files in it. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, come the police, the fire department, ambulance people, and they go, are you hurt? I go, I think I hurt my head. My thumb's killing me. My knee's killing me. And they're trying to move me into the ambulance, right? And they go, did you lose consciousness? And I said, I did for, about 10 to 20 seconds. I did lose consciousness, right? They go, well, we got to get you into a C-collar right now. I go to all of them. I go, listen, I know you got your jobs, but all of you better stay away until I secure my client's files. Once I gather my client's files and I put them in a briefcase, and then they're going to go with me into the ambulance because that's confidential information. I'm alive. I'm not bleeding. I am alert. I'm grabbing those files. And so they kept trying to move me, and I said, I'm not going anywhere until these files are secured. So I got all my files, and then they took my two briefcases with me into the ambulance, and they were right there. And then they put a collar on me, and they put an IV in me and everything else, took me to the hospital, and it was a wild night.
So the airbags went off. You
Every
don't know
airbag.
what's going on. Yeah. And when you got out and you looked at your car, and I have pictures for the audience, I'll hold them up to the microphone. When you looked at your car, what was your initial reaction when you saw your car, which is like done? It's not going to be fixed.
No, my initial reaction was, My son last week was rear-ended, and I go, oh, man, this is not going to be good for my insurance. My son was rear-ended. It wasn't his fault. This guy blew a stop sign. It wasn't my fault. I'm like accident prone this week.
You know what my biggest nightmare would be, folks? And I say this to all of you listening, every one of you, including DeVecchio. You know what? You want to know what utter hell would be? Let's say you're driving and you're at fault and you go through a stop sign and you hit Beatrice. That would be the worst nightmare in the world.
Well, that's what the guy did. He came out. He goes,
oh my God.
He goes, are you Attorney Beatrice? And I go, yeah. He goes, of all the people in the world, I could have gone through.
Right.
And then the guy in the back seat, who he was giving a ride to, said, wasn't your fault, Mr. Beatrice. He went through the stop sign, right?
Oh, you know what? I feel so bad for that guy's insurance company. I can't tell you, folks. But anyway, how are you feeling? And let me ask you a few questions. What year is it? I just want to make sure that you're cognitively.
2021.
Well, that's close enough. Okay.
But they did ask me those questions. What's your name? Where are you at? You know, they were putting the lights in my eyes. So they think I have a broken thumb. They're not sure. I've not gone to the orthopod yet. My right knee is killing me. My low back.
No, hang on a second. Is the right knee the knee you had a knee replacement?
No, that's my only good knee left, and I don't know what it hit. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they put me in this neck brace, which was way more uncomfortable than the damn accident. I got to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, into the ambulance I went, and off to the hospital I went. Okay.
All right. Mm-hmm.
And they kept saying, do you want any painkillers? I said, no. Pam showed up. Do you want any painkillers? I said, no. They must ask me 4 times. You want any painkillers? I said, no. So Pam and I finally got out there at 9:15. She goes, we're going home. I go, oh, we are not going home. I'm going to get a drink.
So you needed the traditional painkiller.
I needed the traditional painkiller. She goes, well, the place we want to go to will be closed. I called them and I ordered food, so it would be there when I got there.
DeVecchio.
Yo.
There's a couple questions for you. First of all, you want to get in a pool? I got a black pool, whether Beatrice got COVID at the hospital or from the ambulance crew, because he gets COVID wherever he goes.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, he has these experiences wherever he goes, he's going to get COVID. So we got a black pool when those symptoms are going to pop up. But
normally 3 to 5 days after exposure, Ron. So just stay tuned.
He was around a lot of people. There's flu going around. There's COVID going around. And that kind of stuff. Can you imagine the nightmare the guy that caused the accident had when he got out and he says, oh, for the love of God, it's him.
That would be a worst case scenario.
What was amazing to me, though, Ron? The very next morning.
I feel sorry for the guy that hit you. I hate to say that.
I'll tell you, I'm in pain now. Unless I'm down, I'm working. Because I don't. I had to be in federal court in the morning.
How'd that go for you?
I had to have someone drive me there. I had no car, and it's 7:45 in the morning. I get a call. We're from the American Accident Injury Institute. We understand you were in an automobile accident. And I go, well, I was.
Did you get some flyers?
Oh, wait a minute. They go, well, would you like a police report? And I go, you'd send me a police report? And they go, yes, we would. I go, you wouldn't happen to sell that information to any lawyers or chiropractors, would you? And they go, no, all we do is get you the police report. I said, well, how does your company make money? They just call people that are in accidents, get them a free police report, and that's it. And she goes, yeah, that's it.
How long after the accident you get the next day, the next morning?
7:45 in the morning. I had 2 calls by 7:45 in the morning. People, one was from the Accident Injury Institute. One was from the National Crash Center. I mean, it was just people trying to they go, do you need any legal help? I go, legal help? I said, like, what?
Maybe. No, David, you got to go along with those
calls.
I
did.
You got to play with them.
Oh, no. I got to tell you what the one woman did. And I said, do you realize what you're doing is unethical? Like, a lawyer is not allowed to call you if you've been in an accident. She goes, sir, I've been doing this for 10 years. And I said, well, I happen to be a personal injury lawyer, and what I'm telling you you're doing is wrong. And she goes, well, okay, Richard, I'll see you. I said, my name isn't Richard. She goes, yeah, but you're a D-I-C-K. And she hung up on me.
Wow. Wow.
Hey, let me ask you something, Dave. Was that the first time you heard that?
Well, that's the first time someone tried to say that to me on the phone.
Because I think you've heard that from people on the potential jurors.
Oh, I've heard that a lot in my life.
Oh, man. So
So
this
here
is
I
gonna
am.
be the
I mean,
best.
I am in pain. Okay. I'll be honest with you, but I'm not. I'm just taking some ibuprofen. And
What was it like? I want to ask this when you went to federal court the next day, basically in the condition you're in.
you think a federal judge had mercy on me? I was trying to calculate something with the days because, with a thumb, He
Yeah.
goes, Mr. Beatrice, what do you do with your phone? I said, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'll put it down. I was just trying to calculate some days. He goes, I understand you're in an accident. I go, where? He goes, you ready to proceed? I go, I am, Your Honor.
There you
A
go.
lot of compassion.
Oh, it is. So you've still got issues with your knee, and you have issues with your thumb, broken thumb, and all
Well, I
that
don't know
kind
if
of
it's
jazz.
broken. It feels a lot better today, but they got it in one of these splints and then something wrapped around my wrist, and I look sort of like a mummy. I look mummified a little bit. I had to be honest with you.
I mean, you really have gone through all hell. I mean, really,
Brian Kopp really got me the best. He really did.
David. How's that?
He says, every year you break a digit. Because if you remember, last year it was my toe and then my pinky. And this year it's my thumb. He goes, your digits are at risk with you.
That's right.
Right, and don't forget, Mark. What was it like about 5 years ago? He had a broken dinghy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's been an ongoing issue.
Right. So thumb. He's had a lot of broken problems.
I've
our
had a
dinghy
lot
included.
of breaks.
Appendages are not doing too well with me.
Right.
Good thing you have 10.
Or 11, whatever the case might be. But anyway, David, it's what an experience.
It
What an
was. It
experience.
was scary. I went. I mean, my knee was killing me, and it still is. My
Your good knee.
my good knee, and I'm having headaches in my neck. But people go, "Why aren't you staying at home?" And I said, "Look, I'm not that debilitated." And when you work for yourself,
Yeah.
I can't afford to take off.
Right.
Like if I take off, I just have to work 3 times as hard when I come back.
It's true.
Mark, when I heard that after this, what day did this accident happen? It happened Tuesday
Tuesday
ago, I
night.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I heard about this, and then I heard the next morning he was going to federal court, Mark, I just laughed. I said, because you know what federal court does to Dave.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he comes in and it looks like he just had his ass whooped. I mean,
Although I had a
court.
good result Tuesday afternoon in federal court. I had a really good
Really?
result for a client. Yeah. Guidelines called for her to go to jail, and the judge gave her probation. So I've had a couple
That's
good outcomes lately in federal court. Although Wednesday morning it didn't go too good for my client, but can't win them all.
Right.
Right. But you know, who knows? You might not remember any of this since you hit your head and that kind
I
of
did
stuff.
hit my head.
But
pretty hard.
but as an attorney, were you said you were scared, even as a personal injury attorney?
Well,
you were.
it's shocking. At the moment, you're disoriented, and then all of a sudden, there's all these people around you. Give me your license. Give me your registration. Give me this. Give me that. And then you're like trying to assess the situation, and I'm trying to think like a lawyer. And the minute
Well, you're in shock. I mean,
I'm in
originally
shock,
you're in
but
shock, and then your
immediately what-
adrenaline's through the
yeah,
roof.
and then immediately what I did is I took out my camera and I took a bunch of pictures of everything. I said, because I don't know if they're
Good.
gonna
That's
take
the
this
first
That's
thing
right.
to do, right?
Yeah.
That's the first thing I did. I took pictures of me, took pictures of my swollen thumb.
They got a
took
good
pictures
shot
my
of you
cut.
going in the ambulance.
And my wife took that. I said, take a picture of that. I want to post because Brian started
As a
teasing
matter
me.
of fact, Mark, I got a picture of that right here.
Yeah.
It might be my new screen.
Well, that'll be on the calendar next year. That'll be on the Christmas calendar.
I said, I think I'm going to take my cat off and put this one on. This is a classic.
But I'm lucky. And you know, you never in the flash of a moment, your life can change. That's what I realized.
That's for
in,
sure.
in a flash of a moment, the whole trajectory of your life can change.
Yep.
And that's how fragile life is. And that's why you got to live every day to the fullest. I really believe
Here,
that.
here.
Mark, do you have that picture of him in the ambulance?
I could get it. I don't have it on my phone, but
You want to
I
show
have,
me?
I have
No,
easy
no.
access to it.
No, I have it as well. I mean, it really looks like they just went down to the nursing home.
Right. It does. It does. He looks a little disoriented in that picture.
He's got that neck brace on, and he just looks.
He looks a
miserable.
little confused.
Right. I mean, I think this case could easily go into the high six figures, in my opinion,
No,
just based on that picture
no.
alone. Yes.
If my thumb's broken and it affects my boating season, it's going to be in the seven figures. I can
There
tell
you
that
go.
right now.
That's right.
If I have to have any surgery on this wrist
And you lose the summer.
and I lose I feel bad for them.
Right. So, how was the ambulance ride? Did they turn the siren on?
Oh yeah, sirens are on. And I wanted to go to St. E's in Boardman because it's
Mhm.
closer to my house. And they said, no, since you lost consciousness, you have to go to the St. E's in Youngstown.
Oh, wow.
And here's what I feel bad for our community. Only having one trauma hospital is not good for this community. Not good at all. They had every room in the emergency room filled. I was actually in the hallway.
Oh, that's not uncommon. I hear that from everyone that
A
goes to the
friend,
hospital.
a friend
Right.
of mine who was in the hallway also, who had a seizure and passed out, hit his head. He was in that hallway in the emergency room for 2 days.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this is not good that we only have one hospital. This is not, and it's Sharon closing down.
Right.
They're going to be coming over here. We have problems. I mean, we need more hospital space and room. And the reason why these people are down in the emergency room so long is they don't have beds for them.
Right.
And this is not good for our area. I had a firsthand saw what happens when, you don't have enough hospital space to treat patients that are coming in.
When you experience firsthand like that, you gain a whole new empathy.
Perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the staff was wonderful to me. My nurses were nice. The doctor was nice, but they were definitely overworked and stressed out. I mean, you could see it.
Right.
It was
But
just
the interesting thing, Mark, I think because they realize it's Attorney Beatrice and, he's got that reputation. He had a terrible accident here, but for some reason we don't understand, they still needed to give him a colonoscopy and examine his prostate.
That was a bonus.
Yeah. They said,
We'll throw
"Right
this in."
way, Attorney Beatrice. Do you know do you know this doctor that you sued for malpractice? Yes, I do. Well, David, we're glad you're okay. Really,
Yeah.
things happen to you that just don't happen to the normal
I
person.
know, I
I'm
understand
sorry.
this, Ron. I do understand. Do we have any calls, by the way?
Yeah, we got plenty of them, but I'm having too good a time.
I appreciate that
mean,
you're
I
having
just-
too good a time at my expense. I totally appreciate that, Ron. It was a scary
Mark,
situation.
is he limping around the office, Mark? I mean, is
Well,
it
he
interesting?
he's toughing it out. He's keeping a stiff upper lip here. His hand is a little bandaged up, but other than that, he's answering the bell.
That's beautiful. I mean, that's what it's all about. All
That's
right,
right.
David, you want to take some calls?
Yes,
Dave, how many
let's-
fingers am I holding up? I mean, is
I
it
have
blurry?
no
Can you see
idea,
okay?
but they were doing that to me.
He's not going to be hitchhiking anywhere anytime soon. I tell you that.
Then they wheeled me into the emergency room, and they go, well, you got to take your jacket off. You got to take your tie off. I just had that jacket dry clean. They just roll it up, throw it in a bag. I go, it got to go back to the dry cleaner now,
Yeah.
right?
That's right. At least they didn't have
And
to cut
oddly
it off
enough,
you or anything.
After he took his shirt and tie and jacket off, they insisted he take his sweater off, and they said, no, Dave said, that isn't a sweater. That's my back. Let me try that joke again, okay?
Go, we laughed.
Okay, just checking. I just want to make sure. All right, you want to take some calls?
Absolutely.
All right. With the attorneys, you're on the air tonight. Hello.
Is that me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead with your question.
Well, I've got kind of a unique situation, probably a question, but a short story. I got my tax bill, my property tax bill, and they rated it on 100% finished residence, which actually the construction stopped back in 2011 in June because I fell at a volunteering job and broke my neck. C1.
All right.
I was transferred to Case Western where they observed me for 2 days, told me I had life or death as the option, but they'd never seen anything like that, and they discharged me with a 2-month follow-up. And the neurosurgeon chief told me his last instructions were just do the best you can. And on the property tax issue, that's when I had my accident back in 2011.
Well, what's your question?
Is it lawful for city government to falsify the tax record to such a completed state? I got that right from the auditor's office.
Caller, can I ask you a question? Are you telling me
Yes.
from 2011 till now you've not paid any property tax?
No, I'm telling you that I was building my house. I paid taxes every year. I camped for 5 winters while I built this place. It's kind of an artistic situation, and there's a history behind it. I was in the Plain Dealer.
All right. I can't get into all of it. What's your question, though, for the attorneys?
I think his question is
there
his
any
house
legal
isn't completed.
recourse I have?
Yes, you can appeal that assessment.
Yeah. Call
How?
Call the
Newsom's
office, and
or
yeah, you
would-
could get an
Call,
appraiser.
call the auditor's office. They'll tell you how to appeal it. But had you paid these taxes before on that house?
All the time.
stand
Call
by
the
for 1
office. I have a
second.
number I could give you.
All right. Call their office and talk to Attorney DeVecchio.
The Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council present the story of Tom and Levi.
Tom is the smartest man I know. He's been a professor
law firm and then talk to you, and you can guide them in the right direction.
There are people that will handle these appeals for you. They have a background in appraising property, and they'll contest the appraised value. They'll try to lower the appraised value to bring down your tax bill.
All right. You're on the air with our attorneys tonight. Hello.
That's an abandoned my
All
court.
right, you're on the air with our. That might have been a guy that hit Dave. You're on the air with our attorneys tonight. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, dear.
Hi. So I'm calling for some legal advice for my daughter, actually. She was in a relationship and helped somebody, took out a loan and helped them with his business in a hard time. And the loan is just in her name. But he texted my husband, which basically admitted that it was him that received the money, and he intended to pay for it.
Yeah, all
with a
you could
loan.
do is sue him.
And-
The bank's relationship was with your daughter.
Right. Yeah. You add him
Right.
as a third party or
It's
file a
like-
civil suit against him because they're not married.
Civil suit?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, they are not married.
Yeah. If they were married, you have some recourse because if it was occurred in the marital term, it's a marital debt, and the court would have the authority to divide it and to determine who's
And I'll bet
ultimately
he's not
responsible.
making the payments, and they're looking for your daughter,
No.
and he's like Casper the ghost now, right? You
And
can't
if
find
he's
him.
not collectible, you have
Right.
another problem on your hands. So, if he doesn't have assets to go after, you have problems. You have some problems there.
Moral of the
Okay.
story is don't loan money to your friends.
Right. Absolutely. Donate because you might not get it
For
back.
sure.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I wish
With our
I wish
attorneys
we had
tonight,
better news for her. That's
But we don't.
terrible. Yeah, no.
We don't have any good news. We're attorneys. You're on the air. That's
That's
the old cliche.
that's true.
Trouble.
You're on the air.
Yeah, we have a question for Mr. Dietrich.
Oh,
Yes,
boy.
sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, what did you tell the police officer when he asked you if you were wearing your seatbelt?
I absolutely always wear my seatbelt.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
It's the first thing I do when I get in my car is put on my seatbelt.
Well, I myself and other people I know have had more injuries from airbags and seatbelts than the actual cause of the accident.
Well, luckily I didn't have any seatbelt marks, but that airbag did blow into my face. Now,
That's
I-
probably what knocked you out.
it is what knocked me out.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
what I
those
think
things
my
are bad.
thumb,
And
because I was on the steering
and-
wheel, either I bent it or it went over. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing happened to my right
Yeah.
hand's fine, but my left thumb's killing
You
me.
probably squeezed the wheel at the last instinct, right before
Yeah.
impact.
and if you would have gone downtown to St. E's, you would have been in the hallway for a lot longer time. A friend of mine recently went to Boardman, and he was in the hallway probably about 8-9 hours because there were 15 people ahead of him, and they said that at Belmont Avenue, St. E's, there were 200 people waiting for a bed to get into emergency.
Well,
Yeah,
they
well, they-
took me to
That was a
St.
few weeks
E's.
ago.
I wanted to go to
Downtown.
Boardman, but because I said I lost consciousness, they were mandated to take me to St. E's
Oh,
downtown.
okay, you did go to Belmont.
Yeah,
Okay.
but luckily I got
Well, I hope
X-rayed
you're
fast.
okay.
I'm banged up, but I'm okay. Only the good die young, so I should live to a ripe old age.
Well, that's what they say.
Right. All right. Thank you. Were you shocked, though, when the airbags went off? A lot of times they're so quick and they kind of punch you right in the face.
Ron, it was so quick, and I couldn't see. I couldn't see. I mean, I slammed onto. I mean, I couldn't see. The car must have locked up because the airbags. They have airbags down for your feet now, right?
Yeah.
Those came out, and I couldn't see. The airbags were there. Everything was in my face. I didn't. No idea where I was at. All I knew is I hit something or someone.
Wow.
Yeah. I hadn't. That was the worst accident I've ever been in.
Wow.
Now you got the headaches of your car's wrecked. You got to go get another car. I mean, there's a lot of headaches that come. after.
Let me tell you something. The police officer was so kind. She was such a nice police officer. I wish I want to send the mayor a note about her. She couldn't have been nicer to me. and nicer to even the other guy, and just the consummate professional. And I showed her my license and my registration. And then my car was at the tow yard. And then the insurance company called and said, you got to get your car released from the tow yard. So I went to the tow yard and I had to get there were some things that weren't crucial that I left in my car, like some things for my boat that I had back there and some miscellaneous stuff that wasn't client related. So I cleaned it out. And then she goes, well, you got to get a release from the police department. And I go, why? And they go, because you didn't show your license. I go, but I did. And she goes, well, sir, we can't release your car. I said, okay. So I went to the police department, and you used to be able to go up to the second floor of the police department. Now they just have that little cubicle there.
Oh,
and
okay.
And you press a button, and someone came down and got my license and registration. And about 20 minutes later, they brought me down the release. Then I had to drive back out to the place where the tow yard was. By then they were closed. So I had to go back out there this morning. I finally got a rental car.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah, now you got to look for another car, which is.
Yeah, now's not the time to be looking for cars either.
No,
I mean, it's just, they're expensive. I don't know if you've noticed that, Dave. I mean, they're very expensive.
We can get into a discussion about that, Ron, but we won't.
Oh, no, I would like to talk about it because I think it would be very annoying to Dave right at this moment. Wouldn't you agree, Mark?
Yes.
Talk about how expensive it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, car prices went up all of a sudden.
Yeah, wait till you get that hospital bill. Bet you that'll be a lot.
Well, I have good hospitalization. I have med pay. But the more important thing is I wasn't at fault in the accident.
That is why my sympathies are with the guy.
And
who
immediately,
happened to be at fault.
I got to tell you something. What happened to my microphone?
I don't know what happened to it.
Here it is. Immediately, Brian and Frank. Oh, were you texting and driving? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But that's what immediately they assumed. They even took my picture and they go, "This is what happens when you TikTok when you're driving." Okay, they made a meme of me.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's not very nice. I mean, it wasn't your fault.
It really wasn't.
You were paying attention, and we're just thankful that
I was
in the car
paying
by
attention, but
yourself.
when a car, when you're going down a street and you have a right of way, and a car just goes through a stop sign, I mean, it just boom, it just happens.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. With Attorney Beatrice, you're on the air.
Ron, how are you tonight? You know who I am, but I have a question for your scholars and gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
A company recently bought our apartments, and now the new lease of mine starts in May. They require renter's insurance of $100,000.
Yeah.
So I guess that's something I have to do then.
Well,
if that's what they're requiring.
First,
yeah.
thank you for calling us scholars and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. But yes, if those are the terms, unless they're unconscionable and you could try to challenge them, but I think that they're the owners and they can make the rules.
Is that kind of unusual to have that much? Is that trying to protect their property in case it's your fault?
Well, I don't really know the answer to that, caller.
Yeah, I have to be honest. I haven't heard that before. I have not heard that.
Okay.
But I will look into it now that you brought that up.
Okay, I appreciate that. Ron, you know who I am.
Yes, I do.
Okay. And I'm working on another gift for you, so be patient.
All right. Thank you, my friends. All right.
All right.
You're on the air. Hello.
Hey, Ron, how you doing?
Good. First-time caller, I take it. Go ahead, sir.
First-time caller. Hey, David, I know how you feel. I felt the same way, but I was in a 160-mile-an-hour head-on collision.
How
So
can
the only problem I did is I didn't get a hold of Mark DeVecchio.
You should have. How are you doing? How do you feel?
Wait a minute. How do you get in a 160-mile-an-hour collision?
Well, one car was going.
One was going 80,
60
the other was going 80. I don't know.
Yeah,
How is
had
he
a-
in a
had
lot?
a-
No, I was going 60. He was going 110. It was on the Madison Expressway, Dave.
Wow.
Yeah, you got pretty banged up,
I know,
didn't
I
you?
know. And I had my son in the passenger side. Thank God I said, put on your seatbelt.
Thank
Yeah.
God. Thank God. Well, it's good to still hear from
Dave's
you.
Okay, he only got a busted. I cut the wheel and took the hit, and he only got a busted bone. I'm the one that the leg. My leg got ripped off, and that's a leg, by the way, Ron, that I don't have. Well, half of it. And my niece told me that artery was damaged pretty good because of that.
Dave, how long was your
Yeah.
accident? How long ago was it?
2014.
Oh, that. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Then he just lost a leg too.
Yeah. Well, my artery. Because everybody said, "Oh, you have bad habits." I said, and Stephanie says, "No, you don't, Uncle Dave." She says, because she deals with a Wild Sports and Spine on 422. Dave, don't you remember the accident you had? Your leg was off your body. They put it back on again.
Yeah.
Mm.
But he
Wow.
unfortunately lost a leg, and today, he.
But you know what? He
Yeah.
could still sing. I could tell you that about him.
Well,
Great singing voice.
Hey, by the way, I was going to ask you that. When you doing another gig?
March 15th at the Magic Tree. Saturday, March 15th.
right.
All right.
I mean, I don't think you have any other points to make because I've listened to what you've said so far, and it's clear to me you don't have a leg to stand on.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Ron,
All right, don't say Ron. Did you
That's
like
bad,
when
Ron.
Trump says,
All right, goodbye. You're on the air.
There we
guy
go.
is
Ron,
just-
what do we have? A lot of escapees tonight?
I think that guy was in an accident, if I'm not mistaken, where the airbags went off, and look what happened to him long term, Dave, as a result of that.
I see that.
This is a legal show brought to you by Beatrice Cop, 330-729-9977. If you want to get on board till 6 o'clock, we got about 15 minutes more. You got a legal question, 330-729-9977. Let me look over there. I got two lines open. 330-729-9977. We'll get you through. 330-729-9977. Any legal issues or problems that you might have, pick up the phone, give us a call tonight, and we'll hook you up with our attorneys and try to get your question answered. You're on the air. Oops, you're on the air. Hello. How about that? You're on the air. Hello. Yes, sir.
Yeah, is this the radio show?
Yes, it is. Go ahead, please.
I was recently in an accident. I heard all the accident talk,
Yes.
and I was not at fault. The other drivers were cited. I drive a 2021 pickup truck. It had about $12,000 damage.
Yes, sir.
It's being repaired, but what I was wondering is their insurance is paying to get it repaired, but do I have a recourse now that there's going to be a loss of value on my
Well,
truck?
it's funny you should say
Because
that.
it's been
I was talking with Senator Al Catrona today, and Al Catrona actually entered a bill for the insurance companies to compensate you not only for to repair your car, but any diminution in value. So good for him.
Yeah, because normally lawyers don't get into property damage that
well,
much.
not
It's
only that, but the point is, they don't have to pay you the reasonable market value and
the
they repair
NADA
your
value.
car.
Yeah. Or they
But now with this Carfax and stuff, it does diminish the value. So he's trying to make the law more clear that you should be compensated.
makes
for
perfect sense.
Makes
It's
perfect
totally
sense to
fair.
me. Yeah,
Yeah, you get an accident, it's not your fault. The NADA value goes down.
right.
Your resale's not as what it once was. So
Right.
yeah, you should be compensated. That's a damage.
That's a good point. I never thought of that.
Well,
Yeah.
I heard some other states have that already, but do I have any recourse in Ohio?
Well, the law is, excuse me, not real clear. So you'd have to wait and see.
I mean, can I just go after the insurance company for that, or
Were you injured in the auto accident also?
No, nobody in either vehicle was injured. But $12,000 damage on a $28,000-$30,000 vehicle. It definitely
No, that's
diminishes
definitely gonna diminish the value of a resale. That's for sure.
I'm always from that school of thought too, David. Whenever they fix it, it never seems like it's as good as it was before it got
You know, I
wrecked.
just thought of something, Ron. Hold on a second. Frank, I just saw you showed up. Frank, what do you have to say about that?
I don't know, David. What do you think? I think you're the smartest person there is, David.
Well, thank you for your input, Frank. We really appreciate that.
Boy, that Frank Cassis sounded like he had his shorts riding a little tight there.
He is
I
a
mean,
little,
you
he
know.
is a little short in his pants. I'll be honest with you.
I mean, you know, it just seemed like his voice was rather high for Frank, but I guess you know, the
Frank, I see you
coughs and-
just joined the show.
Actually, I did, David, but you're doing such a good job, we don't have to worry about it.
Okay. I see Frank has really got some problem. Oddly enough, you know, attorney Jim Melfi's sitting with me right here at the radio station.
No, Jim
how do you think
Melfi and Dan Leslie from our office, they're in a hostage situation right now.
how's that?
So when you go down, if you have if I have a case down in Florida and you are in the car with Brian, Brian will not let you be
On the
on your phone in case he gets a call. So I was getting a call from a client. I said, Brian, I got to take this client's call. He goes, you can't take it. I go, well, here's an idea. Pull over. I'll sit on the curb, but I got to take this client's call.
Even if he's not on the phone.
Yeah, you can't take a call. We call it the hostage mobile.
Mm.
Right. And so you had to get out and sit on the curb. The interesting thing, Mark, was that once he got out and sat on the curb, Brian kept on going.
No, Brian didn't keep on going. But I did
He sat on a hill of
I
fire
did send
ants.
a picture to Frank, didn't I, Frank?
Yeah, Dave, you did, and it was a really funny picture.
I'm telling you, that Frank has got some really serious issues going on.
I don't know what's going on with him tonight.
I
just
think
don't-
it's too much trestle tortellini or whatever they're serving
Yeah.
down there at the NVR. It's
Well, you know, ever
definitely-
since he started in The Wizard of Oz, and he was representing the Lollipop Kids, his life has never really been the same.
Well, he's thank God he wasn't in Hello Dolly like you were as a young
That's
thespian that you were back in. You know, Dave was the only guy that thought if he joined, you know, the theater and performed in Hello Dolly, he thought that would be a way to meet a lot
Get
of girls
chicks.
in high school.
Yeah.
I actually, I wanted to be an actor. My dad said no. So I became a lawyer and I'm an actor by default. Now I have a captive audience in a jury trial.
Well, don't you think part of being a good lawyer is making a closing argument that is certainly
Closing
people pay
arguments are
attention to?
overrated.
Are they?
Yep. The jury's already made up their mind by then. I mean,
Really?
yeah. Everyone thinks the closing argument's the end all and be all of it all. What the most
Well, it's the drama that is portrayed in the
drama
TV
and,
shows
you know, and everything else. The most important part of a jury trial, in my opinion, and this is just 40 years talking, is the picking of the jury
Voir
and
dire.
the opening statement,
Yeah.
because that's going to set the case on a certain course. And I've seen studies that jurors make up their mind, like 60 to 70% of them make up their mind by the time opening statements are over with.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. By the way, an update: are you still banned from social media?
No, oddly enough, TikTok, I had the account up to 190,000 and TikTok kicked me off in less than a month. I've built it back up to about 160,000 now.
Nice.
So I must know
You mean
something.
they don't let the 190 go over to your new account? Or
No, I'm still
they-
appealing it. Still appealing it. It's
Yeah, so you
frustrating.
lose all your followers and they got to find you again.
Well, they found me. Some of them found me. They call me the law father.
Mhm.
They call me their favorite boomer. They call me grandpa. Okay.
Mhm.
Because I'm going to tell you something, Ron. I connected with these younger generation. And I don't want to get political here. But if you're a Gen X or a Gen Zer, okay, we really haven't left them that great of a country, have we? They go
No.
broke going to college. We're $36 trillion in debt. They
Right.
can't get a good paying job. And everyone says they're lazy. They're not lazy. We just left them kind of a crappy place. The generation above me, the greatest generation, left us the greatest country.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Okay.
Yep.
And you're a young person going to college now. When I went to college, you didn't have to mortgage your arm and leg to get a degree.
That's true.
Right.
Okay. And I feel bad for them. And a lot of them are frustrated, and I get it.
You can't even discharge college loans in
No.
bankruptcy.
That's a
Can't
gig.
do it.
It's a gig, man.
Non-dischargeable.
It's a big gig.
Absolutely.
I
And
mean,
after you spend the 200,000, there's no guarantee it's going to get you a job.
no. Or if it does, it gets you, I tell people, I don't want to get political because this isn't a political show, but we're sort of upside down. If you're a person, the difference between making $50,000 and $80,000, that's life changing.
Sure.
But if you're making $50 million a year and you go to making $80 million a year, that doesn't change your life, right?
Yeah.
That might buy you a couple more expensive Bugattis or whatever they are, or a couple more Rolex watches, but that's not life changing. And so
No.
we got to worry more about the people in the $50,000 to $100,000 range and make sure that they can afford things and live a good life. And I feel sorry for these young people that they work full time, sometimes 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet. That's ridiculous.
Oh, the house is so expensive.
Everything.
Cars, well, as you well know, transportation is so expensive, whether you lease or buy, David. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. And when I see people like the owner of the Browns,
Yeah.
a multi-billionaire, and he wants the taxpayers to help him build a stadium, I got an idea. How about you spend your money? We'll then go there and we'll overpay for food,
Yeah.
drinks, and hot dogs.
Right.
And we not
$10 for a
chip
hot
in
dog.
so you can make more money.
Yeah.
How about that? How about that radical idea? I mean, I don't know when this got flipped that billionaires need a handout from the taxpayers.
Yep.
And it reminds me of 2008. We bailed out all those banks. Not one of those guys got a hurting. They all got bailed out. But a whole bunch of people lost their homes
Yeah.
and got homeless.
True.
Okay. And I don't know when this got flipped or how it got flipped, but man, it got flipped somewhere. And that's who our clients are. We're middle-class people. We're a working class firm, and that's who we want to represent. I'm sorry,
which is
Ron.
something for our listeners, though. But I mean, the firm, you know, have what we've discovered last week, 3 locations in Florida as well.
Yeah, we have an office in Delray, Sarasota, and Tampa, and we have an
Right, I
office in
North
Canfield.
Carolina.
No, not anymore. In Pennsylvania, and I'm looking. Haven't done it yet. We're still looking, playing with the idea of going into Manhattan. So,
Oh, why would you do that?
because I can.
It's too no, it's way too expensive.
Well, I mean,
Way.
there's a lot of ways you could do it, but my goal in life before I
Yeah.
die is to have a jury trial in the Southern District of New York,
Why?
because that's the major leagues of criminal defense work in the United States. If you are trying a case in Manhattan or in the Southern District of New York, Federal Southern District of New York, that is the Super Bowl of lawyers. That's where the creme de la creme go. And
A criminal case, you say? So
yeah,
it's-
absolutely. I'd love to get one there. I'd love to try one there. But usually in federal court, there's 2 ways you could be found guilty. You can have a week-long guilty trial, or you could just go in and plead guilty ahead of time, because it's so impossible to win in federal court. It's just unbelievable.
Well, as you say, that's why they say don't make a federal case out of it, right?
Don't make a federal case out of it. And the best way to beat a federal indictment is what, Ron?
Well, the best legal advice, folks, over the years, you won't believe it, that Dave Beatrice has given on the program. If you're going to break a law, make sure it's a state law.
Yeah.
You don't want to break a federal one. Now, how many lawyers, Mark, would tell people that on a legal program, don't break a federal law?
That's right.
It's not,
Because the best way to beat a federal indictment is
Not to commit
not to
a
get
federal
a federal
crime.
indictment.
Yes.
Right. All right. I mean, that's tomorrow. Will you be on television? So people
Actually,
can see your
I'll be
broken
on
thumb?
tomorrow morning, and they're going to want me to talk about my experience in being a personal injury lawyer who got into an automobile accident. And it gave me a new perspective on everything.
Isn't that interesting that it did that for you?
It did.
I mean, really.
What
I mean,
it
it's-
gave me an interesting perspective on is how these people are just by your own insurance company, by whoever hits you, insurance companies, and then all of these other people calling you. There's just a deluge of calls and letters and everything else, and it's very confusing for people. And so I tell people, don't base choosing your lawyer on a phone call or on a letter. I mean, know who your lawyers are and know that they could do a good job for you, because who you choose as a lawyer does make a difference.
Oh, big time. Yep. Let's take some calls. You're on the air with Attorney Beatrice and DeVecchio. Hello. Are you there? Well, apparently not. You're on the air. Hello.
suck.
Hey, you're on the air. Hello.
Wow.
This is a rough
Hello.
one today, Ron.
I know. I'm moving as quick as I can.
A
Hello,
little
caller.
sketchy.
Are you there? Line 3. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. What's your question, please? Running out of time.
Yes, sir. Is this Dave?
Yeah.
Dave on the line?
Yeah. Go ahead. He is.
Yeah, hey, Ron, I just want to tell you, I appreciate you guys' show. I've used Dave probably 4 or 5 times. I'm still using him now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd put him up against any attorney anywhere.
Well, thank you very
And
much.
his crew that does that.
I
And
will-
he probably knows who I am because he's done a lot of work for me.
He's done a lot of work for
I
you.
do-
I mean, he's done a lot of work for you, and we're glad you were finally able to call out of prison. And don't worry, you'll be getting out in 10 years. Just, you know.
No, it's no prison thing. It's
All right.
he's helped on personal injury. He's helped on.
Well,
He's
he's
working on cases for me right now.
I would say Dave is one of the best in the firm institute.
Well, thank you very
David.
much.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Ron.
Legal Show every Thursday at 5 right here. Stay tuned.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded. iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Darius Rucker to ask if